and welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always, here at the Pig and Whistle Inn in Stormwind, I go for a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. So grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. This episode we'll be going over hardcore World of Warcraft, basically what's the best / worst points of it. Is it something that will revive World of Warcraft, the replayability of it, and is it actually good for the game in general? Is it good for Blizzard? Is it good for the player base as a whole? But we'll go into the weekly news. As always, Draenor and the Zakali Elders are your world bosses for the week. Draenor can be located in Onaran Plains and the Zakali Elders in Zaralak Caverns. Dragonflight bonus event, or Dragonflight Dungeons, are your bonus event for this week. So you get an extra piece of loot for completing a Dragonflight dungeon. Gravity Lapse is your brawl for the week. Essentially, this is Eye of the Storm, and every 30 seconds or so, you fly up into the air and are flung about the map. You can dictate where you land, but it's very spontaneous and it really does mix up the gameplay. Terranical, Afflicted, and Bolstering are your mythic affixes for this week. Terranical, the bosses... excuse me. Terranical, the bosses and anything that they summon have increased damage and health. Afflicted, essentially you want to just be topped up, dispelled, whatever this one is. I keep forgetting, and I do need to get better at that. Let me actually check right here. Afflicted. While in combat, afflicted souls periodically appear and seek the aid of players. Oh, it's the ones that spawn like the the spirits from Shadowlands, them ones. So essentially you have to heal them up. It seems very simple from what I gather. And Bolstering, whenever you kill an enemy, they will shout when they die, giving increased damage and health to the enemies that they are close to within a certain radius. Before we get on to our weapon of the week, I do want to say a massive thank you to everyone who tunes in each and every week. We are growing at a very good and a very fast rate, and I do really appreciate all of the support all of the new and older patrons give me when turning up to the tavern each and every week. I do have to ask for more of your support though. This podcast is not my full-time job, and I do put in as much effort into it as I can without having any sort of content hidden behind a paywall. With all of this being said, down below there is a support link from as little as $3 a month. You can support the show and it will help me get more content out for you guys and better content. You'll have the chance to be featured in an episode in two ways, either a shout out or an actual sort of interview type episode. But thank you all very much for taking the time to listen. Now let's get back to the episode. So the weapon that we're going to be looking at this week is a Doomhammer. Doomhammer is a very important weapon. It's not the flashiest looking weapon, but it's still a very cool looking weapon. It's very iconic. So the Doomhammer is a powerful hammer that was crafted long ago in a pool of elemental lava. Okay, I didn't know that. That was pretty cool. On the orc homeworld of Draenor. It is a namesake relic passed down from father to son and was given to Thrall as a testament of faith and honour during the salvation of the orcs. Although the hilt of the hammer has been replaced, the actual hammer head itself has endured as a testament of the crafter's skill. So the hammerhead is very iconic. It's very much the Frostwolf logo on or sigil in the middle of the hammerhead. Pretty cool. Despite its name, Doomhammer is a weapon of good, bringing doom to enemies and upholding the family's honour. The head of the hammer was forged in a pool of elemental lava in Draenor by an orc named Gelnar. When Gelnar crafted an oak handle for the weapon, the Doomhammer was complete. Both the hammer and the name was then passed down from father to son for generations until it passed to Telkar Doomhammer, father of Orgrim Doomhammer. My voice just stopped there for a second. Young Orgrim came to admire the hammer, knowing one day it would be his own. In a meeting between Orgrim Duratan and the Draenei prophet Velen, Orgrim told of a prophecy about the Doomhammer, saying that the last of the Doomhammer line will use it to bring the first salvation and then doom to the orc people. That seems really weird. Did Thrall bring doom to the orcs? He kind of did when he appointed Garrosh as war chief. It wasn't the smartest. Then it will pass into the hands of one who is not of the Blackrock clan. All will change again and once again be used in the cause of justice. So I wonder if it was Blackrock that caused the Doomhammer to be, or for that prophet to be fulfilled almost, because he did lead the orcs to their death. As is the nature of such prophecies, the orcs did indeed fall, all due to the manipulation of Gul'dan and Kil'jaeden. After using it in the First and Second Wars, Orgrim, last of the Doomhammer line, passed the weapon to his protege Thrall, the one who redeemed the Orcish race and completed the prophecy. Okay, so Thrall was the redeemer in this. All of the Doomhammer's bloodline's successors bore its ominous prophecy on their great shoulders, divined long ago by the Black Hands clan elder shaman. Yet for generations, these tidings of doom went unfulfilled. The legendary Doomhammer weapon became a standard of pride and honor. Its immense black stone has indomitable as the orc's fierce spirit. When the heirloom passed to Orgrim Doomhammer and the mighty orcish horde rose to power, the weapon met no equal in battle. I feel like there could have been a few that would have met it in battle to be its equal, if not superior. Innumerable foes suffered its wrath. The Warhammer even shattered Anduin Lothar's fabled rune-etched blade of Stormwind. Oh, that's cool. Before crushing the human skull. Oh, that's not as cool. Only too late did Orgrim realise that he was the harbinger of doom prophesied by his clan's ancestral shaman. Although he had slain the power-hungry Horde war chief Blackhand and many of the depraved warlocks who had destroyed the orcs' culture, Orgrim's people were ultimately defeated, and most of them were rounded up in human internment camps to live out their days in shame and lethargy? Lethargy? No idea. Okay, that's really cool. So, Orgrim, actually was the one to lead them to the shits, essentially, to the slums. He led the orcs to the slums, and Thrall, okay, that's really cool. That's really cool. I didn't know most about this, but essentially what it is now, Doomhammer, it is wielded by Thrall, or was. I'm not sure if he wields it now. No, it's the players. It's the players that wield it now, because enhancement shamans get Doomhammer in Legion, because Thrall kind of essentially dropped it into the Maelstrom, and it was retrieved by the players, essentially. So it is currently wielded by the player base, and before that it was wielded by Thrall, and then Orgrim Doomhammer and Blackhand before that. It's really cool. It's kind of like a heritage thing that it's just passed down and stuff. There's loads of trivia about it. There's a few different models it's had over the years and stuff, but it is really cool. It is a really cool weapon, and it's certainly worth looking into the lore of it if you get the time. But we'll get into the main episode now. Hardcore World of Warcraft. Is it any good? What's the best/worst points of it? We're going to be going over all of that right now. So, Hardcore World of Warcraft, for those that don't know, is World of Warcraft in a different light, essentially. You have World of Warcraft, you're questing along, you die. Oh no, that's a shame. Let me run back to my corpse real quick. You can't res because it's Hardcore World of Warcraft. You have one life only. Deal with it or get out. That's not anyone else's problem but yours. So don't die. It's on you. Essentially, that's it. You get one life in Hardcore World of Warcraft. You can do this in Retail and Wrath of the Lich King. These were before Blizzard brought it out as an official server, these were community-based sort of challenges. You weren't inclined to do this, there was no specific server for them, there was an add-on if you wished to partake, and it was created by the community, the World of Warcraft community itself. This is not a Blizzard idea, really. They have taken this from the community and put it into the game. And it's because it is a really good idea. It's a very smart idea, and it promotes a lot of replayability. Now, you can do this in retail. In retail, I believe it's called more of an Iron Man challenge, where you don't need to have, or you can't equip anything above a white item, piece of gear, or, stuff like that. In Wrath of the Lich King, it's very much the same, though. You can equip kind of whatever gear you want, but essentially you can't die in your journey to max level. But the main sort of culprit that we're going to be looking at here, or the main World of Warcraft, is the one that is in the vanilla version of World of Warcraft, the level 1 to level 60 version, before the very first ever expansion came out, Burning Crusade. So this is the one that Hardcore World of Warcraft has had servers released for on it. And essentially, if you die, you have to delete the character. Well, you don't have to delete the character. You can keep it there as sort of a reminder to how you died and what you did to die. In terms of like what you fucked up. Did you just fall to your death? Did you pull too many mobs? All of these types of things. But you will not be able to resurrect on that character ever. Once it's dead, that character is considered gone. It's considered deleted almost. You can free transfer it onto a normal server if you wish to carry on with that character. But if you wish to play hardcore again, you have to make a new character completely. Now, the best and worst parts about this is that it does give it some replayability, because World of Warcraft vanilla, I'll call it, doesn't have that much replayability. Yes, you can obviously level ults, but gearing ults is nowhere near as friendly as like retail is at the moment, or even Wrath of the Lich King. The vanilla version of World of Warcraft is all about the journey. It's all about the leveling from level 0 or level 1 to level 60. It isn't about raiding. It isn't about the PvP at the end. It is all about that leveling journey that you take and how you take that journey. You can be a mage and AoE farm everything. By all means, go for it. A bit risky, but you certainly can. That's what I'm going to be trying to do. You can take it one mob at a time, very, very slowly. As long as you're having fun and enjoying it, you certainly can as well. But the replayability does come from, if you die, then you have to restart over. So it's like, okay, I've got to do this again. It's something to keep you engaged, and it's like, okay, I'm getting more fluent with how I get to level 1 to 20. I simply go here, then go to Crossroads, then do all of these quests, then go back to Crossroads, and in this, go up to Ashenvale, all of that stuff. You get into a rhythm of it quite quickly, as it were. Now, the worst parts about this is obviously if you've made friends on the server and you lose a character, but you are really attached to that character, you can't live on that realm as a character that has died. You have to transfer off. Therefore, you lose contact with the people that are still on that realm as a hardcore character. You can contact them via Battle.net and stuff like that, of course, Discord, etc. But you won't be able to do dungeons with them because they are on a different realm. They are on a hardcore realm. You will not be on a hardcore realm if you were to die and, stay true to that character that you've put a lot of time in already. So this is one of the drawbacks of it. But I think more than anything, this is one of the best things that they could have implemented into World of Warcraft, especially classic or vanilla, because vanilla, like I said, there isn't much that's going to happen with it. Vanilla is always going to be on that very last patch, so all of the raids are unlocked. Molten Core, Blackwing Lair, Anchorage, and Naxxramas, they are all unlocked, and there's nothing being said about adding new raids or new sort of content for it. It is very much, this is what you get. This is the entire package, and World of Warcraft and MMO has a ending. Essentially, it has an ending, which is that next Rammus fight and full best in slot gear. That is the ending of vanilla World of Warcraft. And Wrath of the Lich King and retail or Dragonflies certainly don't have that at the moment. They do have potential to go on to other things. Wrath of the Lich King can go on to Cataclysm, and Dragonflight will go on to 11.0, whichever that expansion might be. Void Lords, Super Galactic Fight, or whatever the fuck it they want to call it, anything like that. Or they can just call it Murloc Island. Oh my god, a Murloc expansion. Okay, that sounds amazing. Just an island full of Murlocs. Fuck it. Do that. There's no quests. You just got to grind Murlocs. That will be something. Okay, getting off on a tangent here. What are the easiest sort of classes to play if you're looking to get into World of Warcraft hardcore? So if you're looking at the easiest classes to play, you have a couple that are up there. You have Mage, Warlock, Hunter. Hunter when you get to level 10. Hunter at level like 8, 9, bit annoying to deal with. But Hunter after level 10, it's easy. You just let your pet do everything. Rogue is relatively around the medium sort of stage. So is Druid. You have your Priest that's kind of medium as well. And then you got stuff like Paladin and Warrior, I would say are a bit tougher. Or they're certainly the harder classes. Shaman, I would say, is about medium as well, actually. I do forget the Shaman class. But that's sort of your like lineup, as it were, from easiest to hardest classes. Now, if you really want to challenge yourself, Warrior is meant to be the toughest one because it's very much weapon-based. If you don't get a good weapon, then you're kind of screwed. You don't really have any self-heals. You don't have a lot of utility, as it were. Whereas if you look at the other end of the spectrum, you have Mage. You have Roots, you have CC, you have Shields, you have an immunity. If you get to that sort of level, you have multiple different things such as massive damage, you have slows, you have just loads of stuff, to be honest, to utilize. This is why it's a lot easier than, say, the Warrior or the Paladin class. If you're looking to get into like hardcore, I would definitely say pick one of the easier classes, unless you're like very familiar with something like Warrior or Paladin or Rogue, then by all means go for it. Nothing's obviously going to stop you, but I'd say if you're someone who hasn't played WoW in a very long time, I'd recommend one of the easier classes to start off with on World of Warcraft hardcore, because you only have one life at it. If your character dies, you die. Not you IRL, but the character itself dies, and you cannot access that character unless you switch realms, or make another character, and you just see it sat there in ghost form, which would tilt me, by the way, because I've never left a character dead. So I've never left them in ghost form. And I don't think I could bring myself to do it. I think I'd have to delete the character, which is very sad because I've, in my experience, I've already put, I think, about 14, 15 hours into my character on Hardcore Classic. And I'm I'm level 20 at the moment. So nearly an hour a level it's coming to. But it's really something because I've never played Horde side, and I feel like Horde side is a bit more fleshed out, in my opinion. Quest-wise, at least the crossroads anyway, I feel like I'm very much just going about my business. I'm going up here, down here, left, right, east, up, northwest, south, everywhere. I'm in the middle with the fucking Great Sea, all of that bullshit. I feel like it's very fleshed out, and I'm relatively comfortable with how I'm doing. I've had a couple close calls. One with the Harpies in the top left of the Barrens. I pulled 3 and went to AoE them. I got them all running, and then one of the invisible harpies attack me, and I was already about 30% and 0 mana, so I was like, oh fuck, gotta go. So I just ran and used a pot and stuff. Managed to make it out. And then there's raptors that are just a little bit south of the crossroads, but they have a flurry attack essentially. And one of them hit me 3 times in a row. He crit me all of them 3 times and essentially took 50% of my health away, and I'm panicking because I was about 60% at the time as when he used the flurry, and I'm like, fucking hell. All right, got to pot that, got to run, got to polymorph, got to shit myself, all of that stuff. It really does focus your mind though, hardcore World of Warcraft, which is really cool. It's something that I never really do. Well, I do to a certain extent. I do when I'm PvPing. I do when I'm raiding. And World of Warcraft Classic, it's a really weird sensation, but it's one of them things where I'm zoning out because it's just leveling, it's just chilling. My brain is very much switched off, but switched on at the same time. It's like, okay, I'm just leveling, and then shit hits the fan, and it can just flick a switch, and it's like, okay, I've got to do this, I've got to run there. I'm the safest if I go over here, that kind of deal. With regards to duo and solo, if you want, you can play with a full group of friends. You can play with 5 people or 4 people, you and 4 others. You can group up and do World of Warcraft hardcore that way, but you don't have to make the pact that if one of you die, you all die. I think it's more interesting if one of you dies, then you all die and you have to delete the character, because it means that there is more danger to it. But you don't have to do that. Solo wise, I think it's going to be the most enjoyable because it's very much on you if you die. Dungeons wise, I'm very skeptical about going into dungeons because it's very much like, what if the tank fucks up and pulls everything? What do I do? Do I just have to run? Do I just have to book it? What if someone fucks up and I die because of it? Because your dumbasses literally got me killed. That's kind of like the hit and miss of dungeons in hardcore. You gotta hope that people are somewhat competent by themselves and are actually looking out for the team essentially. But it is a massively good improvement for the game. Especially this version of the game, because it gives people something extra to do. You have PvP and raiding in retail, you have PvP and raiding in Wrath, and then you have some PvP and a bit of raiding in Classic. But it is all about the leveling in Classic, and this is what it encapsulates. This is what hardcore WoW encapsulates the most about vanilla World of Warcraft, that leveling experience and trying to get the best out of that leveling experience. But that is it for this episode. Thank you all very much for listening, as always. Do check out all of the social medias down below. We have Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. The support of the show is also down there below if you wish to show your support and love for the show a bit further. I will be streaming my hardcore WoW progress pretty much every day over on the Twitch, so do check it out. I've currently got, I think, about 4 or 5 VODs up there that are about 5 hours long, or at least 15 hours long in total, if you guys are interested in that sort of thing. But thank you all very, very much for listening, and go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.